Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sewer Rat Podcast. I'm Bill.
And I'm Sebastian, aka Arctic Force.
So today I have a new segment. We're gonna try something little now. I'm gonna call this Bill's Big Brain Questions. And so how this is gonna work is I'm gonna ask Sebastian a question, and we're gonna kind of think what we'll kind of go off of a prompt that I've created, and we're gonna kind of just figure out and just come up with some wacky ideas. So for today's prompt, it's going to be if you had 1,000 pounds of any snack that you could build a raft on an ocean and survive off of, what would you choose? And I have to ask, Sebastian, what would you choose?
So it took, whenever we thought about this before, real quick, I had to get a little bit of preparation and look up some facts real quick.
Mhm.
At
Mind you,
first, my mind wandered a second. I was like, we've got you could go for the easy thoughts, like you got the chips, but we're in the middle of the ocean. We There's a really large problem with one major resource that way,
yes.
water.
Mm-hmm.
So then my mind wandered for another second, and I was like, what tends to have a lot of water in it? And that's when my mind hit on it. We have to get a fruit of some sort because of the juices in it containing some water. As long as you count fruits as a snack food, which I personally do, because I snack
Yeah,
on fruit all the
I mean, I
time.
really don't, but I want to hear where you're going.
So then I started thinking of all the fruits. I'm like, okay. We could just take like the obvious. We could take coconuts because they're filled with water
Mhm.
and you can get some nutrients off them. But that's so hard to break into.
Yes.
You'd have to get rid of the husk. You have to get into all of that. So then my mind went back to my sweet childhood and we got some watermelons.
Jesus.
Now, now before before we go off this snack has to be a boat. Watermelons are less dense than water. They do float. And you may be
Correct.
wondering, how are you going to get past that tough outer skin to get some of the fruit? Trust me, I can munch my way through it. I've done it before and I'd do it again.
Okay. But okay, so here's the thing: how are you gonna make a vessel, a thing to lay on, sit on, and float on?
Okay, so the red part, that's going to be the sustenance. You can take that apart. The white part, can get pretty, or it's still like a bit juicy. That's like the backup, like, dang, we really run low on food supplies, which we shouldn't if we have 1,000 pounds of it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where we get interesting. The green part of the watermelon, the outer part, not only is that a very sturdy
It
material,
is very sturdy.
as long as you peel it, you can make it fibrous, and you can use that to tie everything together
But how are you gonna peel it with your bare hands?
with my teeth.
Jeez. Okay. Well, dang. That's a little It's a good one. Now,
That was the whole plan.
so this is what I came up with. Now, watermelons are pretty hefty. They're kind of cumbersome, it weighs a lot. I was thinking on a different plan. Now, he might be onto something about water. I didn't think about that. I was thinking about if we took 1,000 pounds of those long Slim Jims and weave a boat, and if we hand weave a boat, you could just chomp on it. I mean, what that's not gonna rot on you. It's severely processed. It could be in salt water. It's practically there. So
Now, now, my only problem with that so far, besides the dehydration issue,
hmm.
because I've had some of those Slim Jims before, and I didn't even need a glass of that.
Yeah, well,
But
I didn't think that far.
do
So,
Slim Jims float?
well, see, if you have enough of it, and if you make a big, long, and wide thing, it's going to float.
I don't think that's quite how that works. Floating's based off of
It
density,
is
but
based off of density. However, if you have enough, if you have enough of a certain material, water will be pushing from below it, pushing it up. It's kind
so
of
you're
like how
going
like ships and boats work. Yes, like old boats are made out of wood, but do you think steel? Do you think steel floats? No, by itself. But considering there is a huge air gap, and the further it goes down, the more water pressure is pushing it up. Will it be enough? Maybe, just maybe. But it'd be a whole raft full of Slim Jims. So with the sturdiness, I mean, you're basically just kind of weaving it together. I mean, it's the best thing in the world? Absolutely not. But the trick with this is it's very elastic. So it could withstand the harsh waves.
further counterpoint. Are you not going to be attracting predators by slapping some meat in the water?
Well, listen, it's processed, okay? Listen, it's
I don't
processed.
care how processed it is. I've got dogs at home and they would munch on a Slim Jim way before a watermelon.
See, the thing is, sharks are attracted to blood. As long as I don't cut myself on a Slim Jim, which it's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's not a 0% chance. I think it's a valid form of raft.
Let's say hypothetically this raft does work. Do you really think it's better than a watermelon raft?
Well, my statement with a watermelon raft is that first off, the amount of preparation you'd have to do to, like, let's say you're just dropped in the middle of the ocean with it.
You're not telling me that if you're dropped in the middle with 1,000 pounds of Slim Jims, you're immediately going to be treading water, tying these complex little knots, threading them together to make a raft. There ain't no way.
Okay. Either way. I personally,
I took this on the premise of the whenever we get the product is already turned into the raft.
no. So, I mean, maybe I never specified on that when I gave you the prompt ahead of time, so you could think. So, the thing with it is, yes, it could attract predators. There's a possibility, but then we just break off a piece of the raft and let it go away. You know, it's gonna want to chomp through.
You're catching scurvy.
Well, it depends. It depends how long we're on that raft. And you could have an iron deficiency, okay? You're gonna be tired all the time.
But no, I'm gonna be on a sugar rush all the time with all that
yes, but you're gonna have an iron deficiency. You're not gonna have that protein.
And you're gonna dehydrate and die within a week.
Yeah, I never give a listen. I personally,
what are we now on the contingency that we get jugs of water with us there too?
No. Listen, we just hollow out the Slim Jim. We have a little like straw, and we just drink the salt water. You know, it's not only gonna make us thirstier; it's gonna make us hungry. You know?
Yeah, take your Slim Jims and just shove it there. You know what? You sound like you'd also be the type of person be like, okay, well, we need to pad all of the little holes that could be. We want to get some saltine crackers. Spread that there, create an insulated layer, and be like, yep, I can survive off of all that salt.
Listen, man. I might have not thought about the best choice, but I was thinking about like how durable it could be, and how like flexible.
It will be flexible. It ain't going to be durable.
Listen, I mean, the water isn't going to be the issue. It's not going to be the issue. Like, do you not think there's going to be fish that wants to nibble on those watermelons?
Yeah, how are they getting past that strong green husk?
Listen, whenever there's a will, there's a way. Like, there's a lot of fish and... Like, what do you think all that salt's going to do to the outer side of the,
Yeah, what happens when all the seagulls come showering down to scoop all your Slim Jims?
Listen, the salt's going to dry out the husk, okay? Make it shriveled up. See, Slim Jim's already shriveled. They're practically just a salty stick, you know? Most of it's made of salt.
Yeah, you know what? You know what salt does in water? It dissolves.
Yeah, well, there's already a lot of salt. It'll be fine. Listen, man, at the end of the day,
All I know is I'm gonna be on my watermelon boat where my watermelon hat like a crown sailing across the seas while I see you struggling over there with your little flimsy Slim Jim rod
okay.
trying to.
But, listen, man, you can say it's flimsy.
Next, you're gonna tell me you're making a sail and a mast out of Slim Jims.
Listen, I don't think a mast could work, but a paddle could. Paddle could.
You're not getting those firm enough to make a paddle. No.
Listen, whenever you just clump them together, just make a big stick, and then you just clump a whole bunch and make like a very.
Yeah, Bill. How much? Okay, here's another question: how much knot tying experience do you have?
Yeah, some.
Do you have some weaving experience?
Some. I used to be Boy Scout.
My boy's going to be out there sitting with a loom in the middle of the ocean.
But think about it. The outer skin of it is practically waterproof.
Yeah, the watermelons isn't?
Listen, man. Listen. At the end of the day, I chose Slim Jims. You chose watermelons. And whoever... Okay.
Me and the Giga Chad melons.
And we could have our viewers decide what raft would be better. Your raft made out of watermelons?
All I have to say, too, is this conversation Freud would have a field day with.
Or raft made out of Slim Jims?
Bill, you know what I mean by Freud having a field day.
Listen, man. At the end of the day, I said what I said. And I stand by what I think. You cannot convince me watermelon.
I says what I says, and I means what I means.
Okay. And with that, unless there's anything you want to add to it, then maybe bolster your point a little bit above mine.
All I have to say is we got the Giga Chad watermelons going out there. We're making a giant raft that can be expanded on with some fibrous materials. We're making everything work it out. We got the sugars in there that needs to be going. We can eat. Ours is even a regrowable resource.
Okay, but hear me out. Have you ever seen Ed, Edd and Eddy?
I have not.
So I forget what his name is. During the final movie, there's that guy who always carries the plank. A plank. With either some eyes and a smile. Through that whole movie, he had a watermelon on his head. That's you. That is a you.
Giga Chad.
No. And with that, that's all I have to say.
Let us know down below whose idea is better. The Giga Chad watermelon or the flimsy Slim Jims.
A strong unison Slim Jim. Collectively, they're powerful. With that, I must say,